Hi, everybody, and welcome to the program today. Hi, Aarti.
Hi, Rishi.
Thanks for joining us today, and thank everybody for coming for the program today. You guys are all obviously interested in the law of attraction. That's great. Good to see so many people here. And we'll go ahead and get started. We have a few people that's joined us already. I'm sure some of them will join in a little later. This is India. So let me get my question sheet here. I have everything written down, so I want to make sure I have all my questions which I want to ask. And actually, we got a lot of questions from from the people that filled up the registration form. So I've
I
already
like by the way.
sorry.
I like your haircut, by the
Ah,
way.
we got it. Actually, today we managed to get somebody to come home, and then he was busy cutting everybody's hair and doing pedicure, manicures. Long overdue pedicure, especially. Do you guys have your building is opened up for people to come in and do home delivery service, or is that like still a lockdown is like heavy on your building?
It's pretty much lockdown, actually.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
managed to sneak somebody in. Yeah. Okay. So good. Let's get started. And I think what I'd like to do is first just you know tell everybody how we connected and where we started. And correct me if I make a mistake here, but if I remember this rightly, you got an invitation from either me or Dharmendra to come for our seminars a few years back,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
then, but you missed my talk. But you we did connect. After that, you invited me to, I think, your BNI for email marketing, and then after that talk, you actually felt there was value in doing email marketing.
I'll share something interesting here. I don't think I've ever shared that with you before. But
Okay.
since we're in law of attraction, I always wanted to hear your talk, and yours was the only person allowed to come to BNI to do that email marketing thing. After that, there was nothing else. And before
Exactly.
that, I never tried it. So
Right.
it was a
Yeah.
creative. I thought that I'd like Rishi to come here, and that's how it happened.
In fact, I got a lot of contacts after that talk from the BNI group. In fact, I was really surprised how come your chapter decided to actually do that. Normally, it's like only internal members. I was not a member. So it's amazing how law of attraction works. We can probably go to more examples. I've got some examples to share as well. But I think, yeah, after that BNI talk, you actually thought we should go for email marketing, and now you're using it, and
Yes.
you're doing a lot of online digital marketing stuff. But that's all for
Yeah.
another day. But I wanted to just share with the audience one thing that happened as you became my client. You were on your way to travel somewhere. You heard about my problem with the heart and everything, and you said you wanted to do a session with me. And for me, that was very powerful because, like I said in my invitation to most of the people, you have this happy knack of cutting through all the bullshit. I was in my own trap. I trapped myself into this
Yeah.
emotional bundle of shit.
That's
For the-
what you call as self sabotage,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
many people are not able to identify.
Mm,
It's like this: you cannot see your eyelashes, which are so close to you. Neither can you see the heavens above.
exactly.
So a problem that is really close to you, it most of the times you miss seeing why. What is there that is creating that issue for yourself.
I mean,
So
yeah, even the one that we spotted the other day for me, right? On money. I thought I was like the king on this. I've understood this, but and that was fabulous that you were able to spot it. And I was like, got it. I mean, it's like the eyelashes one. I'm like, I can't see it. But so maybe you need somebody else to see that. Hey, there's something stuck here. you know.
sometimes I think that they can't hear us. Can have you? Are we audible?
I hope so. Let me look at this chat right now. Give me a second. All right. No sound. It was Gina a few minutes ago. It was fine a few minutes ago. Okay. So let me do a quick sound check, everybody. If you guys can hear me, everybody's saying I can hear. So yeah, thank you, Nandita, Dhaval, Dhavani. So they can all hear us. So I think sometimes people's phones are not working, and so they think that everybody else is not able to hear. But I think everybody's saying yes, that they can hear us. So that's great. Thank you very much for texting in that you guys can hear us clearly. That's good to know. Um, yeah. So interestingly, there are 3 people on YouTube. They, I think, have an issue with Zoom, maybe. But maybe I should use this opportunity to just plug that problem. Guys, Zoom is not a Chinese company. Read the Times of India. It's not a China product. It's an American company. The CEO just happens to be of Chinese origin. It's like many Indians go abroad and become successful. So was this guy. Poor fellow was born in China. But anyway, some people prefer to have watch us on Zoom. I want to make that option available. I mean, on YouTube, they have the option to watch YouTube. Okay, let's come back. We're digressing from what we were talking about. So, yeah. So I guess that's a very important thing that happened to me, and you helped me in that phase when I was going through my heart transplant. I didn't want to do it, and I had all this mess in my head. So I can't thank you enough for those sessions that you did for me. Of course, the first one you came by all the way to the house. Then you did a lot of them on Zoom with me. So thank you very much for that. So let's see. Wow, that's nice. We have more than 40 people. About 45 people have joined us now. Fabulous. Great. So I would like to start the talk with your journey, actually, because I know you've shared this with me. I had a couple of times, and you've taken me through the process, but I think a lot of the people would really benefit if they understand. In fact, some people actually asked me the question, who's Aarti? You know, I never heard about her. What's the deal? And I said, okay, come for the program, then you'll know who she is. So let's just start with your journey and how you came to law of attraction.
Okay, so to tell you quite frankly, I have been practicing law of attraction for now 22 years. And I was pretty young when I got into it. And I used it for various things like, being able to attract the right life partner, the birth of my son, even for, the right job, etc., etc. Now, just a little, if I just go back a little, prior to authoring these 3 books or getting full time into teaching about the law of attraction or coaching, I basically was into fashion styling, So I styled for movies, theater. I won awards for that. And during just when I got pregnant, it was a precious pregnancy. And that precious pregnancy was one of the reasons that I had to kind of leave the industry. So in the industry, the rule is out of sight, out of mind, you should be knowing. And that's what happened. And after birth of my son, I basically had needed to take care of him. I had really prayed for him, and he was there. So I gave up my career as a stylist, but that was something really, really dear to me, and it had an impact on me. So I started suffering from bad health. When I'm talking about self sabotage, when I told you about, that's how we create ill health also. When you are not happy in your life, your mind starts creating problems, and therefore your body gets impacted. So that's what happened, and I had multiple health issues. That was the time I dived learning deeper about the power of the mind, the power of the subconscious, about consciousness. How does everything work? And that shifted a lot for me, So without any medication, without anything, I had got tests done, and the test showed, in the reports, I had cysts and I had um, other issues. I had spondylosis and all of that. And without any medication, I was able to change all of that just by consciously choosing what I desired in my life. So, one of the prime things, we'll probably discuss it later again, but in the law of attraction is to know what you want, consciousness about, and then consciously creating a life makes a lot of difference. So, anyways, going forward, that's how I got into it. I worked with several people, got invited at various places to speak, etc., etc. And then in 2018, I decided that let me do an experimental workshop. So I did a 30-day experimental workshop, which I called 30 Days of Consciousness. And it just filled up. It had 256 participants. And the whole month of December, I kept on giving them more information and what they should do on a daily basis. And by the end of it, every day somebody had some change. And by the end of it, you could just see the massive shifts that have happened. And that's how I was able to write my first book. you know but I forgot to mention this very important part just a little prior to that. So I was doing all these things, and amidst all of this, I wanted to uh, enrich my journey by learning more. So I wanted to know more about my field, and I wanted to do international certifications. And when I had just begun over here, I did not have all the money that I wanted in order to invest into those different workshops that I wanted to do internationally. So the first workshop that I wanted to do, I required about 2 lakhs within a month, and I did not have the funds. I didn't want to ask my parents. I didn't want to ask my husband. I didn't want to ask anybody for the money. But so important thing here is it's not about asking somebody. It's about asking the universe, So I asked the universe for the money to show up. But over here, again, I want to say that it was the experience that I was focused on. It was not about the money or how will the money show up, where will the money show up from, etc., etc. What I asked was that I'd like to be there in that workshop. And trust me, this was even before I got into your LinkedIn format and everything. Within 2 days, I got a call from this random person from LinkedIn. And he said that I would like you to go and do a workshop in Delhi for, a week. And whatever money I was short of, he was offering me that, So, yeah, you're muted, by the way, Rishi.
Yes. I wanted the video spotlight on you because I think everybody's interested in you. I think they've all seen me a lot of times.
So the money showed up, and and this is what happened, which I want everybody to be aware of, which is the universe always responds when you ask. It is up to you whether you decide to move forward or not. Now, when the money showed up, when this person called up, he said, I want you to leave in 2 days. My son was just about, he was 4 then, and his school needed to take care of. And to top it all, all the mothers or the homemakers will realize there was no house help. So in my mind, it was who's going to take care of him, who will take care of the school and the lunch and taking care of the house, etc., etc. These are the excuses that came into my mind for that brief 5 minutes, which is very natural. But the important thing is that when that happened, fortunately, I knew all about self-sabotage. And I knew that if I get stuck in my ifs and my buts, I will never be able to move forward, So I dropped it. I decided that that's not the way I'm going to move forward. What I can do is ask the universe for more. So I asked the universe, okay, so I'd like help to show up. And people started chipping in. My husband asked me to leave, as in leave me go, not leave the house. But
I think that is like everybody like, oh, that's the way. You gotta just split.
he said, go ahead with it. My mother-in-law chipped in, my mom chipped in. Everybody just showed up. And for 1 week, I was in Delhi training while my son was taken care of. So the important thing is that we all get opportunities. When you ask the universe for things to show up, it always shows up. The point is whether you take it up or you don't take it up. So any which ways that happened, and so I was able to create for that first workshop, and since then I was able to do 21 more workshops, and for each and every one of them, money showed up. The next experience that I wanted to have was I wanted to speak at TED. And so I just started on the journey of visualizing, where I and listening to TED Talks, and this is the other thing that I want to share. This is a kind of a secret where you want to be somewhere. You want to speak at TED. You want to go to a particular place or whatever it is. You have to start planning for that. In your action, in your thought, in your visualization. So it's not only about that I want to speak at TED. So I started envisioning it. In addition to that, I started listening to TED Talks as I'm going to speak there. Okay. And I started putting all that into my life so that things begin to show up. So any which ways, 6 months down the line, I was very randomly invited to speak at TED. So many people ask me, Aarti, what did you do? Tell us the process, etc. As there is no process. I did not follow what the normal way of doing things or follow what people follow. I just asked for that to show up. And then, as you know, after that, I decided that, okay, my book should become a bestseller. So my book became a bestseller on Amazon. So I've had many experiences on this journey, trained over 3,000 people, spoken at various corporates, etc. So that's I think in a brief. Is that okay?
No, that's fabulous. I think most people would be able to get an understanding of these. You just touched three of them in your experience. So I think that's great because most people, they want to know that is the person have the experience before they can teach other people. And so in your case, you have that. That's fabulous. I think let's move to one important thing. At least in our talk, we've talked about the situation of COVID-19. Everybody's
Yeah.
worried and they're wondering about the economy. They're losing jobs. Every day I get about 2-3 people sending me, sir, can I get a job in your company? They have no idea. It's just, we're just a small company that outsources to a lot of companies. So losing jobs, businesses, people want to know how their businesses are going to turn out. How do they switch businesses? What should they do? And if you can probably, one, share your views on that, and number two, what would be some tools? Like I know you said ask, okay, what and this visualization. I think if you get deep dive into what people can do, right? And I've also got questions in the registration form. A lot of people filled out questions, so we can probably dive into the questions and even take questions from the people who are right now. Oh wow, we've hit 57 people. Not bad. Great. So good. Let's see if we can talk a little bit about the economy. What can people do right now? And
So,
if they see something, what they should do differently and things like that.
so one of the main things about the law of attraction is your subconscious mind. It's about how you orient your mind. Okay. And that's how things actually get created. If I put it simply, there is a thought which is created. Let's say electricity. Okay. Who created electricity, Rishi?
I think there were guys that were working on an idea to do something. I don't know what. I think no. I think Edison and all came later to create the light bulb, but I forgot how the electricity thing happened.
Okay. So
What was-
Edison thought of, let me put it basically, as Edison thought of a thought, and then that thought became an idea, and then there was something created out of it, right?
you mean to
So
say because Edison was thinking that there should be light bulbs, and therefore we should create something to make light bulbs up? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure if I'm getting.
I'm going to clarify. Like, for example, your laptop, Apple, how did it come into existence?
Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, they thought it up.
Exactly. There's always a thought that comes first. That thought is transferred into an idea, and then there is a form that takes place. So there was a thought, ideas were put together, and the form is basically the laptop that you have in front of you. So the same way, when you want to create anything in your life, it has to begin with thought. That thought goes into an idea and then takes a form. Unfortunately, most of the people start from the environment. Okay. We look at the environment we see what is happening in the environment. For example, right now, the COVID. Right now, many people are falling out of having less cash or not having a job or XYZ. That is basically what the environment is constantly showing you. Based on that environment, you create a thought. And then your thought is, okay, now everybody's losing jobs. So I have to take care of myself. I have to probably cut down, etc., etc. That gets into an idea. And then you go into conclusion, that, oh, so now this is going to happen and that is going to happen. And that gets looped. And then you get stuck there. So for any problem, or if you want to kind of move forward, you have to drop the environment. Very difficult. It's very difficult
So
that
ideas as to how to do that. I mean, we get that because of the environment, external influence, you're watching the media. Okay, we can stop the news. The moment somebody said some negative, delete. We don't want to watch it, so that we don't spiral that. What else can we do to switch it 180 degrees? I mean, you said it
well,
comes.
one of the things is definitely consistency. You have been programmed for so many years, like 30, 40 years of your life. You have been trained, and there's a belief system created. I'll give you another example. Have you ever seen an elephant in the circus? Yeah. Have you ever observed how the elephant is tied with a rope? Have you ever wondered why the elephant does not break out of that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I've heard that one where when they're little, you kind of put them on a metal one and you bloody make it go concrete, cemented to the bloody ground. So once he's stopped, he can't do it anymore. He can't break off that concrete tied metal chain, and then he can't change his thought. Even if you leave the chain loose, I think you can't do it. Something like that, I guess.
Yeah. So that is your belief system that you create as a child. We are all impacted and influenced by our parents, our teachers, our friends, our relatives, whoever, as we are growing up. And we create a particular belief system. That belief system becomes a fundamental. And then based on that, it's through that we continue to react in different ways in our life. Now, that needs to be broken down. That needs to be worked on. And when you're saying that, you can't just switch off from the environment, well, it requires practice. I wouldn't say that it does not require any practice. You need to be consistent at it. But if your goals are very clear and your focus is very clear that this is where I want to get, then you allow the environment to frizzle out. But if you're also not very clear on your goals, then what happens is you continuously get impacted by the outside. So one of the ways is in order to reduce the noise from outside, you can make your dreams and goals louder. So as you make that vision bigger for you, that will not matter any longer. But if you have no clarity of what you want to do in your life, then you can get noise from everywhere and get impacted. Then it doesn't, even a small impact from outside will deter you to do anything that you want to probably do.
Fabulous. That's a really nice way to explain it. I hope people get from this as much as I'm getting from it right now. I mean, I've heard this before, but it's just nice to get reinforced. So I want to know whether we should get into specific tools that you'd like to talk about, or shall we dive into questions?
Over here in the COVID thing, I want to share one more thing, which is basically, I think it'll be very helpful, which is quite specific in a way, which is right now, your mind knows how to look. So right now, the mind is able to see only a limited scope, right? Your perspective is limited because of all the external noise that continuously happens. In order to change that, in order to begin to start giving your mind more, in order to begin to expand those horizons, what you can start doing is ask this one simple question, which is, what else is possible that I have not even considered yet? So as your work front is concerned or your business is concerned, just asking that one question, what else is possible that I have not even considered yet, begins to broaden up the mind and its horizons. Just for fun's sake, just right now, even if you ask yourself, what do you get?
Let's see. Actually, there's a lot. For me, actually, I'm not even suffering. In fact, my business is increasing. Ever since COVID-19, my business is actually going up. Families say, what are you doing? You're so busy. I said, what to do? People are constantly calling me. So I don't have time for other stuff. I mean, you keep telling me, Rishi, you should do this, you should do that. I said, yeah, it's on my list. I've got lots of work. So I'm quite happy with the amount of work I'm getting. So maybe we should open up this question for people who need to. But I think the idea that you're presenting, which is, I think they should paste that question wherever they look most often, or paste it all over. What is the question? How can it be better? No, what else?
I've got put up in my bathroom on the mirror. While I brush my teeth, I go through it. It's about what else is possible now that I have not even considered yet. If you just wonder about that question rather than wondering about the limitations that are there,
right,
your mind starts presenting you with something new. So this is for anything. This can be for simple things or daily things in life. Doesn't have to be only for business. But it's basically a way to get out of your head and go and find new horizons, rather than being stuck in one place and just saying that is it. There isn't anything more.
So I think basically, just writing it down, a nice, good marker, just get a marker and write it and paste it in places as a reminder would be one good action. And then you sit down and you do that. As you said, be committed to that and do it. So it requires the practice first to start with this. So that's great. Anything else you'd like to add before we switch into maybe some of the questions or some of the tools you'd like to talk about for this time right now, COVID-19?
Is there any specific other question with regards to COVID?
Is there any specific things you'd like to share? Like this one was a good one, which is to write it there all the time so that you keep reminding yourself and then it becomes like a practice. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Some tools you'd like to talk about?
I think that is the main thing that you should actually begin with. Start there and see what gets created. And I've tried it many times and it just keeps changing and things show up. So I highly recommend this one tool. It's very interesting, because that's the other thing, that we continuously try and look for solutions. But when the solution is there in front of us, we say, let's leave this and go to the next and see what next can happen. So it's about what's in front of you and sometimes just applying that. Let me see what happens when I apply this. So sometimes application is important, not just the knowledge. So I guess.
Cool. So I'd like to actually go with some of the questions. I've got some questions that have come up and I'm happy to take more questions. And I'll probably look at asking the people to look at the Q&A section. So hold on. Okay. Hey guys, thank you so much for filling up the chat with questions. But can I request you guys to do one thing? If you see there is a Q&A section, I would really like it if you can click on Q&A and then type your questions there, because it's harder to read on the chat. So I think we have Shailesh, Shobha, Sanjay, all of these people. Can you guys take those questions that you put on the chat and dump it into the Q&A section? That would be really great, because it's a lot easier for us to manage the questions rather than scrolling back and forth. So just request you to put the questions there. Sorry, Arti, for that. I should have done this in the beginning to let them know about this. Okay, so we've already got some questions over there. But before I start the questions in the Q&A, I'd like to dive into some questions that came in on the registration itself. People asked some questions there itself because they probably knew this is my question already and I want to ask this. So I've broken it up into uh, a few categories because some are repetitive, so I don't need to go through them. So we've got related to COVID. Some people are talking about how to stay positive. Third one is on relationships. Fourth one is how do I do it fast? They are all about speed. मेरे को जल्दी चाहिए. And then there's another one on goals, right? And then there's the last one on business. So what should I address? What should I take first between?
Pick whatever you like.
Whatever I like. Okay, I'm going to go with COVID since that's what the title of the talk is. So the first question, of course, how to handle the situation, the current scenario. I think you shared something on that. Let me read the next question. Is it law of attraction workable for everything, including COVID situation? Yes, I find it difficult to navigate this issue as I'm away from friends and family. So the person is feeling that they are away from the family and therefore they're struggling with it. Can law of attraction help people who are suffering from being alone or being away from family, which I think, yeah.
So one of the crux of law of attraction is about how you orient your mind. Okay, what are you going to feed into your mind? So if you feel that it is a problem to stay away from family and friends and therefore it's difficult, then it is difficult. That is what you're continuously feeding. I am not denying the fact that it is not easy to stay alone or whatever. I feel that what you might be probably going through, it could be difficult. But what I'm trying to suggest is, how are you going to use this now? you know would you rather like to be in a space where you are creating more rather than choosing to be where you are? So if you had a choice, and what are the different things that you could probably do? If you could use the same question, what are the possibilities that I'm not willing to see over here? So how would you use this to your advantage? Maybe one question you can ask is, how can this situation contribute to my life? If you ask yourself, how can it contribute? Maybe you begin to get questions. Right now, the state is, this is not easy for me. And hence, you are constantly feeding the subconscious that it is not easy. And that's how the ball is going to roll, So
here's the thing, right? The person is thinking, like the question says, yes, I find it difficult to navigate because you're in that loop of, it's like that elephant, yeah, you feel stuck, right? How do they snap out of it? How do they, yeah, go ahead. How do they snap out of it? How do you snap out of it?
Okay, so one of the things is, if I right now ask you not to think about a pink elephant, don't think about a pink elephant.
Okay, I get that. So now what to do?
Yeah. So first is that whatever you decide, I'm not going to do, you're still going to kind of do it. So it's never about resisting something. It's not trying to avoid it. What I normally teach and what I normally recommend is one of the things, mentioned in my book also, which says what you resist persists. So the thing is to allow the thought to come just as you breathe. When you take a breath, you cannot hold it. And how long will you hold it? You can't hold it forever. You start choking. And that's what happens even with the thought, that if you continuously hold it, you're just going to feel uncomfortable. So allow yourself to breathe. Let the thought come and let it go as easily as it comes. Just allow it to be like something that is passing.
Right. So just let it come. And then but most of the time when it comes, one isn't aware that it has already come, right? So now it has come and you're thinking negative, it's difficult, it's so hard, my God, what do I do? And then at some point, I think some awareness kicks in that
that realization, that awareness, when that kicks in, I'm thinking negative, or oh my God, I'm feeling upset, or I'm feeling angry. You catch it. I was like, okay, it's there. Now I am aware. and now I can let go. The problem is most of us don't even know that we are there.
Right, and that we can't do anything about, because when you're screwed, you're screwed. You don't even know you're screwed, right? So you're so unawares of what's going on, and then but there are moments. Like you're right. There are moments one realizes, hey, we get a slight glimpse of, hey, where am I going? Hey, I'm going down that path I don't want to go. That's, I think, the opportunity to seize and capture. Like, okay, it's okay. Don't beat yourself about it. Breathe it out. It's okay. Now let's change the direction. So you have to just repeat every time you get aware of you slipping down that. That's when you turn again and you change yourself. Okay, got it. Makes sense. Sorry, did you want to add something to that, or?
It's just pause, take that breath, allow that thought to be there and release it. And it doesn't, and over there, it's also sometimes, when you're angry or you're upset, be it fully. Don't try to hide it. It's not about trying to say, no, I cannot be angry. I cannot be this. I cannot be that. It's just like the pink elephant. I cannot means it'll come up. It'll come up. It'll keep coming up. So there is no point in doing that. It's about, okay, it's here. Let me see it. It's like the child, have you ever observed a child, a nagging child coming to you? It's like, papa, papa, daddy, or mama, mama, look at this, look at this, look at this. And you're like, till you don't look at it, it's going to be there and going to harass you, right? That thought is also exactly like that. Till you don't pay attention, say, okay, I see you. You're there. Now let's move. I see what you're saying. I get it. And let's move forward. So that's how it changes them.
Lovely. Very, very nice analogies. Thank you for that. Let's go to the next question. Yeah. So the next one is on positivity. So what I'm going to read all three questions, and you can respond all about positivity. Okay? I'm in a worry state of mind, and in turn fear, which is not going from within, is similar to the first one again. How to attract more positivity in the thoughts and actions while improving positivity around us, how to create a positive lifestyle, and the tools and techniques required to make it happen. Is there any impact on our past in the present and future? That's an interesting one. How do I remain sane in this time? How can I use the power of visualization to improve myself, learn new skills, so that I'm re-employable? Okay. Thanks. How can I stay positive? Okay, so this is all the positive ones. How would you like to respond to these ones?
Um, so I'm going to start. Just give a couple of different inputs on this aspect. Staying positive right now at this moment, it is very important, because the way the circumstances are, etc. Now, a couple of things that you can actually do, which I would like to recommend, is one is definitely meditation. There are a lot of people who fear meditation and wonder that, oh my God, sitting down. But it's not about that. Even if you just close your eyes for 5 minutes and breathe, that itself helps you to realign. So it's a great thing. Just pick up any meditation on YouTube for 5 minutes and just go ahead and do it. It just helps you to align yourself.
Would you be able to share some links that you recommend that I can forward to all the people who registered? Then I can share them. If you have some specific ones, they might want to give it a try.
Yeah, sure. I have some meditations I can forward. That's one. Second is a fabulous idea is of journaling, where you write down your thoughts. That is also a very, very, very healing method where you can be, it's something that I do during my workshops. One of the workshops that I conduct, I suggest journaling activity in that, where and how to kind of journal and move forward so that on a daily basis you're kind of progressing. So journaling is something. Apart from journaling, I said meditation, journaling. Really get to know what is it that you can continuously add to yourself on a daily basis that'll be fun for you or that makes you happy. There's this one chart, I will forward it to you, which you can probably forward to your contacts, which is write down what are the things that make me happy. what are the things that don't make me happy, how much of the things that I am doing that make me happy, and how much of it that I'm not doing,
No, that's nice.
or
That's
yeah.
nice.
So
That's good.
yeah, so very clearly you identify that these are the things that is creating more. And if I am not doing that, it is, I am not creating or choosing for my life. You know, I'm, then who's to really blame? It is me at the end of the
Correct.
day.
So you're suggesting they do all three: the meditation, the
No,
journaling. Okay,
no,
it's
I'm not
pick the
suggesting.
one that works.
I'm just giving suggestions, whatever works with who.
So each one can try one, two, all three. That's their choice. These are things that you have noticed that work for people.
Even affirmations work, for some people. But the problem with affirmation sometimes is that people affirm, but they don't believe.
Yeah, that now I can imagine. Now, how does that work? And so, therefore, are you suggesting because of that problem, you don't recommend affirmations because they're like saying, "I want more. I want to have this experience with all the money," and but they actually don't believe that that's really going to happen. So then what?
Choose the affirmations you feel most connected to. Begin from there.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Say that again.
Choose the affirmations that you feel most connected to. So you begin from there, and then you grow from there. So it's not like it's like taking steps towards the success rather than saying I'm a millionaire today. I will not feel it, you
So,
know.
so what would be a small step versus like the big step, right? Going all the way to the millionaire. What would be from wherever one is?
Whatever, everybody's receiving capacity is very different, so based on your receiving capacity, like for somebody who's making 10,000 a month saying I make 50,000 a month,
Uh,
someone who's making 50, I'm making 2 lakhs a month, what is believable to you,
hmm.
and then you grow. So that's important.
That's a great one. I think that's a good one. So I hope people now follow that and become positive. Let me look at the next question on relationships. Did there anything else you want to talk about positivity or?
Oh yeah, someone asked about past, present, and future.
Oh, yes.
So well, yes, the law of attraction impacts your present and future, and it is because of the past. So your past thoughts are the reason why you're currently going through whatever you are, and based on that, if you don't change it, if you're just staying there, then you will continue to create a future which is the same. Therefore, people have patterns. That is the reason why there are loops. That's why you find and meet the same problem over and over again. That's because you're not changing what needs to be changed in the present situation. So that needs to change.
Basically, you have to consciously change the present so
You
that
have to be, yeah.
you have to do that. Right. Okay. Great. I'd like to move now to the next one, which is on relationships. So the question is, does your law of attraction? So it's not Arti's law of attraction; it is the law of attraction. Does the law of attraction relates to relationship in homes or offices or clients? I mean, does this work? I guess this works everywhere. I think that's what the question is, but I don't know. Maybe in relationship, as in they were relating to their office and work. How would one manifest their body language that helps attract the person on the other side? What I mean is a pure conversation, discussion, be it at home, family, friend, calling, customer, industry. I'm not too sure that this question is the person wants the other person, when he uses the or she uses the word attract, are they thinking that person should agree? So is their future in your control? I think that's what this is. I want you to do what I want you to do. And then the third one is, how does law of attraction work on relationship building skills in business? Again, okay. So although I put this under relationship because of the word relationship, but actually two of them are for businesses and homes also. But one was more about how to attract a person on the other side. Uh, and yeah, so go ahead, take it.
The law of attraction works for everything. It's not like the universe is partial. It says, okay, I'll give you only for money. Okay, Rishi, I'll give you only for health. Okay, whatever you ask for, whether it's a relationship, whether it's wealth, whether it's life, whether it's health, it works for everything. It's about how you continue to orient your mind, and that's what really matters. So, law of attraction works everywhere. Now, the tools that you need to use in every aspect differ. So, what I would probably suggest to you, because you're working on your health, would be different. However, there are certain tools which work for everything, But when people come to me for coaching, I would probably ask them what is it that they would like to probably need help with. Now, whatever they probably need help with, I specifically work with them in that area. However, when there are workshops happening, I'm able to give more broad-minded tools, which can be used in any area. And every person works on their end for that particular uh, area and are able to actually have that change. Just like I mentioned, when I had that experimental workshop, there were 256 people. Each person had something very different that they were dealing with. Somebody had money, somebody had relationships, somebody wanted a job. But whenever you create consciousness, when you become aware in your own life, things change. Let me ask you right now, in fact, all the other participants also on the group, what is tea for you, Rishi? Tea, chai.
Chai. Chai.
Yeah.
First thing
Well,
is,
what comes to your head when you think of tea? So don't give the answer. Let other participants also kind of comment,
okay,
maybe two, three
let me open up
comment. What is
let me open up the chat for all attendees. Yeah, okay. So this is something now where you can go back to the chat box. Your questions are in the Q&A section. So the question Aarti is asking is, what do you think? Okay, so refreshment, enjoyment.
what are, yeah, what
Okay,
are the things that come to your, yeah, okay.
you can see the chat, right?
Yeah.
Addiction. Tea is wake me up. Tea is for wake up, refreshing, relaxing, boost, refreshment. Okay.
What is it to you, Rishi?
Sorry, for me. So for me, yeah, get a nice pep up. Like I'm feeling a little low. Have chai, feeling yeah, let's take on the world now. I get a little bit of a boost in terms. I wake up. Yeah, so I'm similar to many of these people here.
Yeah. So if so, I've not gone into the detail of this exercise. However, there are different answers which have come through. Somebody says mood elevator, hydration, energizer, comfort, awesome, refreshment. For me, it's 5 p.m. So so basically, what I'm trying to say is that what a simple thing like tea has a different meaning for everyone, right? So what you're going to take back from a particular workshop is going to be very, very from law of attraction itself is going to be very different from what somebody else takes on, because your mind and your orientation and what you're looking for is different. So therefore, law of attraction works for everybody in every area, whether it's relationship, whether it's health, whether it's whatever. It's what you want to receive. That's what you're actually going to receive based on uh, your orientation.
So
So
I have a little variation from that. I don't know whether this is maybe more my version of what I think the question is, and so therefore I'm going to ask my question, which is in the area of relationship, right? My understanding, and maybe you can share with me what your understanding is that a relationship, since each one has their own um, desires, wants, expectations, which may differ from people, it, it is quite possible that maybe this person might not be ideal for me, and maybe somebody else may be more compatible with me. So, therefore, if I throw that I want somebody like this in a relationship, it's possible that maybe I don't have to make sure this person changes to what I want, but maybe the other person who is more compatible will maybe show up. This is my understanding, but maybe you would like to shed some light on my understanding and
So
your thoughts.
yeah. So one of the things is that you have to become what you want to attract. Okay, it's all based on energies and what are you vibrating at. So if you want somebody in your life who so it's all about energies. Okay, so I'm not saying that uh, I'm not saying about you want somebody attractive, so you have to become attractive. It's not really like that. Or so you want somebody tall, so you have to be tall. It's not that shallow. What I'm trying to say is that you have to become that energy of attraction in order to have that person in your life. So if you are lacking, if you are this person who's needy, you will not be able to create that in your own life, because your constant vibration is of need. So unless your vibration changes from need to this of abundance, or of that I'm worthy, or I deserve this, that is not going to get created in your life, because you're constantly in the state of lack. So lack needs to change into abundance for you to begin to attract that. Otherwise, you're constantly giving out the vibration of um, when you I think, and most of the people will connect to this, is when you need money for something, or when you need a relationship, or you need anything. What is that when you need your boyfriend to call you, when you want your husband to do something, when you want your girlfriend to probably do something? There is a need there. The need. I'm talking about need. So
Well, I don't know. I just don't know whether what I'm thinking of what I need is the same thing as what you're suggesting. So maybe you can expand about what you mean by.
so most of the people, when you are in the state of need, are in a state of lack.
Okay, I get that. Yes.
Okay, so that state of lack is a state of neediness. And in that neediness, you cannot attract.
So
I
then,
see you think.
so that means if I'm wanting something, I'm kind of needing something. So
Yeah.
therefore, it's not going to show up. Ah, so 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 then if I don't want to need somebody specific with some specific qualities.
It's not about not desiring. It's about, obviously, I want to have various things in my life. There doesn't have to be an attachment to it. It doesn't have to be an obsession. It doesn't have to be from lack. It has to be more uh, from it can't be from this state of lack.
I think I'm beginning to understand what you're saying, because I think what happens to me is when I don't think about it and I just think about being happy, for example, then lots of people start coming around me and lots of people start liking me and lots of people want to be with me. And it's like, hey, wow, there's no shortage. So I think maybe our own thought process on this, like me for you and you for me and we forever kind of bullshit, maybe has to be.
In a relationship, the most essential in a relationship is you have to be whole in order to attract somebody else. Otherwise you're just trying to attract from lack. So you have to be complete and whole.
So that means all those people who are suffering without the partner that they want in their life is because there's a problem with them. They are not whole.
It's not that they are not whole. They may be whole in some other way, but it's just if they're constantly chasing or wanting and needing, that is what's going to keep it away, because they're vibrating at that. It's like, my life is not going to be complete if I don't have this person, or I am I cannot live do these things alone, etc., etc. It's a constant state of lack. So relationship is a vast it's
Yeah.
actually a
Yeah. We should probably. I think I'm going to skip a few questions. I'll take just one more from the list, and then we'll go to the people, because I see a lot of questions from people itself.
yeah.
Like 22 questions over here. I hope maybe some will be repeated, but yeah. So let's just take one question on speed. Do you have anything you'd like to comment on? Can this can this attraction come to me fast, or is that a bad idea to make it come fast? Because if I want it to come fast, it'll go further away. Well, what is your take on speed? If anybody's in a hurry for something,
Time is an illusion to begin with. Okay, time is very relative in its own way. We have created time. There was never a time. And even though, yes, it does take 9 months to have a baby, some people have it in 7 months. Well, jokes apart, the fact is that when you want to create something with speed, you can, but what needs to be worked on is your own receiving capacity.
and how does
You know?
one fix that?
So your receiving capacity, one needs to work on. It's if you are like we spoke about earlier about the money, and if I wake up today say I'm a millionaire, you know, and if I don't believe that, I am not there. So you have to kind of work and tune yourself into the receiving capacity and see that, okay, where's the broken link? Where am I self-sabotaging myself here in order for me not to have the various things that I probably would desire in my life? And there always is. As soon as you fix that, change happens. It just happens. So it's really not about time. It's about being able to change that one little thing in your life that you've not been able to look at. And then as soon as you fix it, it's like that cluck noise goes and it's together and there's speed, you know. So as long as that is not happening, as long as you're not being able to see your eyelashes there, you know, and that's that you're not conscious about it, it continues to just carry on. Yeah.
Awesome, great. I think that's a wonderful response to that. Okay, let's dive into questions here. Lots of questions. Let me see the first one coming in. Sanjay Mittal, how largely family issues influences your how largely family influences your thoughts? I guess a
Well,
lot.
family really influences your thoughts. So I'm going to take these quickly. So because they're 22 and I
Yeah,
don't know.
you're already at
So,
almost 8, so yeah.
so family is your first connection, you know, to life. Your parents are your first connection. And therefore, family has a huge impact on your upbringing and your thoughts, which need to kind of be worked on if you want to change things around. So your belief systems come from there. And that needs to change in order to create more.
Great. I think we've already addressed some of the questions here. So, like, I'm just going to quickly go through this. Arun Maharajan is asking, can I influence other people's outcomes with the law of attraction, or does it only work for me? I think we kind of addressed that. Did you want to touch upon that point?
Well, you when you create it in your own head and you're vibrating with it, other people change. But as long as the block is always with us. We are always looking for the outside to change, but that doesn't really happen. You know, as soon as we change, the outside changes, and I've experienced that so many times in my life. I can't even number it. But as soon as you fix yourself, let me give you one of the examples. Uh, okay, let me share a common example that I've had in many relationships. You know, when you want somebody to call you and you're needing them and wanting them and etc., and the person doesn't call. As soon as you stop, that person calls.
Hmm.
You know, that is how it actually works. You can't. It's use change and the environment just changes around.
Okay, great. A couple of questions on health issues. One person is asking, does law of attraction, is it recommended for mentally ill people? That's one. And the other one is, how can the law of attraction help me with my mental health? So this is a person who's saying their own health is the issue. Health in general, could you help with some tools? Okay.
So, law of attraction, I would actually recommend, you know, a psychotherapist or someone else, not really law of attraction, in order to help with mental health. Even though it does work on the subconscious mind, but if you are someone who's seriously needs to consult a therapist, then that's what I would recommend. It's not about getting into this. Law of attraction is more to manifest. However, law of attraction does help in healing, in bettering your health, in changing all of that. But specifically mental health, that this is not really what I would look at.
Okay, so after they get better and they would know that they would get better, then they can look at this into then further creating and manifesting whatever they want. Is that
So
what you,
other health issues like any other health issues, law of attraction works.
because pretty much the mind needs to be at least alert
Yeah.
enough to understand law of attraction before we can start seeing results and implement the tools and stuff like
But
that.
at the same time, someone who's going through phases of feeling low, which is different, can start using the certain tools in order to start changing that.
So, like
But
people who going through depression is not considered mental illness, or is it?
well, that's debatable. So I wouldn't really take that on right now.
Okay,
Because,
fine.
yeah.
So maybe they can get in touch with you directly, like, at the end, and then you could probably guide them. Okay, great. Then we have another one. Um, how to get out of worry and how to meet deadlines.
Okay. Well, worry is again to do with the mind. It's not a law of attraction tool, but I would definitely use other tools that I suggest in order to get out of worry. One of the things that I would suggest, which I spoke about earlier, is uh, uh, to give up the thought that there is a worry, because you're continuously looping in that again. So breathe, pause, breathe, allow it to be, and then let it release. So that's something you could probably work with. And the second one was, sorry.
So that was the same similar type. It was about being worried. Let me just put it here again. Um, how to get out of worry and how to keep the deadlines. Is like if I've been given a deadline, is it possible to accomplish that deadline?
Yeah,
But
well, over there, accomplishing deadlines, it's also how committed you probably are. And what are you constantly telling yourself? If you are telling yourself, I'm racing against time, I will not be able to reach there, it's going to be difficult, then I can guarantee you that's going to be it. So,
so the whole idea is like, yeah, this is gonna happen tomorrow. Yeah, done. you gotta you gotta keep saying that. No, no. What am I supposed? I don't want to mislead people here.
so it's not just that it is about orienting your mind correctly, which is a subconscious, but along with it the action needs to be taken. It's not, I can't sit on the couch, it's like that, no, I can't sit on the couch and say, Ari, the work will be done, and Ari, work will be done, and it's not going to happen like that. So you work at it, you will be able to get resources, you will be able to, for example, finish a 1 day's work in an hour's time if you orient your mind correctly. So deadlines can be met, it's just how you orient.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Hi, Aarti Rishi. Nice session. What is the secret tip for longevity in life, long life? Is that something that one can?
Yeah, it's very simple. Is you just choose it. It's as simple as that. Decide, I want to live long, and have goals for that age.
So that means it's not like I want to live forever, but I'm going to down myself with booze. I'm going to smoke myself to death. And I'm going to eat all the fat stuff and all the unhealthy burgers. You have
So
to.
if you're going to communicate that to yourself and to your body, I'm not talking about abusing your body. So law of attraction does not mean I'm not going to be conscious about my life. Law of attraction is that I am conscious with my life, about myself, about my body, about things I want to create. And at the same time, I am not feeding myself with the wrong information. So it's not that if I drink, I am going to die. If I'm going to do this is going to happen. That is information that is given to you by the environment. And if you're going to program yourself with that information, then that's what the outcome is going to be, because that's what you're feeding your subconscious. So program your subconscious, right? When you're eating that cake, eating that pastry, don't go into the thought that, oh, I'm going to put on weight, or I'm going to this, etc., etc. But at the same time, you have to listen to the messages that your body continues to give you. So, and then work on that. So I want to get this one thing very clear, which is coming up again and again, which is law of attraction is not about doing all the bullshit in your life and then expecting nothing to really happen. You know, it is a process of consciously choosing and then consciously creating your life. So you ask for what you desire, okay? Then you program your mind to have it, and then you be ready to receive it. So it's not it's not sitting on the couch. It's not kind of being unconscious about things and then expecting things to work. And it's also and it's not just it's not a many people think that law of attraction is like, some secret pill, and you do it and things that, but there is a certain amount of conscious work required for things to happen in your life. And sometimes that consciousness can be created in a second.
Hmm.
That's the key. That's the reason why it works so well sometimes for people. That, like that talk we had the other day, when you're talking about that money,
Yeah.
as soon as you realize, okay, that's the things just turn around. As soon as oh, this is the way I'm screwing myself up,
Right.
and
Right.
it changes, so it just works that way. It's just that click that happens.
So basically, the other thing I want to add here. So supposing you think you want something, and then you get a call saying that, hey, we need this. Now this is an action that has to be followed. Now, out of nowhere, the inquiry came in. Now you got to go and deliver and execute on that order, right? So there's still the action has to be taken. The if you open yourself out, that's just the beginning, right? All right, got that. Next one is law of attraction effective only for self goals, or is it useful for family goals? I think we've addressed this one, or did you want to add about that? We can leave
No.
that done. Um, okay, children are abroad and have goals. Can we manifest it for them or from India, or is it an endeavor for the person to do? This is the
I
same.
would love to answer about children. Children are fabulous creators.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything for them. They create everything in my life. I have a 8-year-old, 9-year-old, and I just have to tell him, and he creates everything. He comes to me with stuff, and I tell him, go and create it, and then he comes back creating it. So children are fabulous creators. You are the ones, we are the ones who need to actually learn the tools how to do it. But children can just do it.
All right, great. There's another question that's come up. Environment is stronger than will, and we are invariably surrounded by friends or family who are realists, pessimists, and keep trying to convince you that optimism and expecting the best is ridiculous. How could we navigate these people without disconnecting with them? So there's the family, the close people. So every time this person is obviously going through some challenges.
So one of the ways you
I'm sorry, just can you repeat that again? I think we lost you for a bit. Are you there?
Yeah. So one of the things that you can actually do over here is uh, be in allowance. You got to be able to see that everybody has a point of view. We just did that experiment of the tea a while ago, and that just shows that everybody has a different perspective about the way they see life, they see things based on their upbringing. Now, it's not that they are right and we are wrong, or we are right and they are wrong. It's not about that. But what you basically need to begin to do is look at it as an interesting point of view. So, what Dr. Wayne Dyer he says is that be able to see that there is always more that you can actually learn, and be able to see that everything is just an interesting point of view. view. And if you're able to view things from that perspective, that everybody's point of view is there, and it's just an interesting point of view that they have. It's not about right or wrong. That's one. The second thing you can definitely
Okay, sorry. I think is it my connection? Can you guys hear me? I just want to check if I'm the one who's got disconnected. In the chat, I'm just going to open it up for all parts. Can you guys say yes if you can hear me? Okay, we can hear you. Okay, I think we lost Aarti for a bit, so let's just give it a moment to come back. You're back? Okay, you're back. Great. We lost you for about 10, 15 seconds. Are you back like good or probably getting disconnected again? Can you hear me?
I was talking to myself then.
For about 15 seconds. So can you backtrack and share with us what you were saying?
So what I said was about Dr. Wayne Dyer. Did you hear that or not at all?
No, I think it just about started there and then we lost. So start from Dr. Wayne Dyer again.
Dr. Wayne Dyer basically says that we never have enough information. Okay, there is always more to learn, and if you're able to view life as there's always more to learn and see that everybody has a point of view, we can look at every point of view that someone makes as an interesting point of view. Okay, so the way they are speaking or what they're saying is just an interesting point of view. It's got no attachment. So you have to view it from the perspective of without being attached to it, as you would watch a movie. Okay. So
Right. When the family member is saying, "Nee beta aisa nahi hota hai." So now we just reply to that, that's my mom's point of view, that's my dad's point of view, that's my brother's point of view, that's my sister's point of view. That's it. They don't.
Yeah, the thing is, we get stuck to it. We are not an allowance of them. We want to prove ourselves right. We're like, I am right or you're wrong. So that's the second question you should ask yourself is, do I want to be right or do I want to be free? So when you ask yourself that, do I want to be right or do I want to be free?
Right.
It's quite hilarious, but most people still want to be right. So.
Right. No, so what's so it's basically every time that happens, what should one say then? I guess when your especially parents, I think if mom and dad are like, "Beta aisa nahi karte hain. This is not the way to do it." Okay, this is aisa mat socho. And then like, okay, the mom and dad, so they must be right, is probably where we're going, and we're getting navigated that direction. At that time, if one consciously becomes aware, I was at Aarti's conference, she said, this is it. When they say, "Ye theek nahi bete, aisa nahi karte," and if they realize this conversation, what could they do at that point to say,
that's an interesting way of looking at it, or that's an interesting point of view that they have?
That's dad's way. That's mom's way.
Choice that they made. I don't have to make the same.
So we are basically, as you said, we're not allowing them to hold their point of view.
We're not allowing them to hold their point of view. We're not allowing ourselves to have a point of view. Right. It's not about having a point of view. It's about saying everybody has their own point of view, which is absolutely fine.
Okay. So, there's a follow-up question that's coming, which is, do you indulge them or stick with your point of view? It seems disrespectful. How would you respond to that question?
If you see, there is an energy between two people. Okay, when you are disrespecting someone, that energy automatically flows. So the thing is to check in with yourself that by just looking at their point of view as an interesting point of view and looking at my point of view as an interesting point of view, I'm respecting both. And if I am true to myself, I know, am I respecting that person or I'm giving galis in my head to that person? So that is communicated, whether you say anything or not. So that vibration you have to check with. And if you're not, then there is no disrespect.
Yeah.
And you will be amazed when you try this. You'll be amazed the number of conversations that you have with people around you, how simplified they get when you just look at it. Acha, so that's the interesting point of view. When you're doing it from a state of allowance, it's like even he can exist, even I can exist, right? It's not that he has to be wrong for me to be right, or I have to be wrong for him to be right.
So I guess I'm trying to understand the question better. I think I can understand where the person is. Rishi, ऐसा नहीं करते. Supposing this is not the way to do it, यार. ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. Now I feel obligated to say no. I want to do like this. I want to do what I want to do. You're not, by telling me that I should not do this. It seems like if I don't do this, I'm disrespecting you, right? That means I want to do something else, which I want, right? And you're saying वो नहीं करो, ऐसे करो. So I guess it's tricky to figure out how do I allow the person to say, yeah, you're telling me to go that direction, but yeah, you know what? Love you, Dad, but I'm going there. I'm going there. How does one do that without overcoming the feeling? It's like that. I guess the पिताजी ने बताया तो करना चाहिए, मम्मी ने बोला तो करना चाहिए. This is like, I guess, is a very deep, like that elephant. It's like so deep. It's like that chain. It's not there anymore. I'm a grown person. I'm now an adult, but I'm still saying नहीं. लेकिन मम्मी पापा ने बोला ये करने के लिए तो मैं करना चाहिए. How does one snap out of it? What's the technique to get out of that trap? And I guess the feeling of disrespect is still coming because of that trap. How would you maybe further talk about it? I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm also getting what that person.
So two things over here.
Yeah.
One is that over.
Oh, 1 second.
You're frozen again.
We lost you again for a moment. But again, there's a follow-up question, which is great. I think we're coming closer to this person. This is a very important one. They are unaware of the law of attraction and they do not accept optimistic point of view. So even if that's the case, right, that's still their point of view. And we should allow that point of view, but still do whatever you want. Are you there? Oh, looks like we got a bad connection here. Are you guys, can you guys quickly reply yes if you can hear me? Oh, there, Aarti is back. Okay, we lost you again. Did you hear what I said? Shall I repeat the last part again? What was written? Oh, you got it. It's there on the chat actually. If you can see the chat box, you can see the follow-up question. Can you respond to that?
It is fine if they don't accept their point of view or your point of view.
Yeah, her point.
The point is that are you okay with your own point of view? So if you are okay with your point of view, what are you contesting?
Right.
And it is about willing to see that, okay, I'd like to choose this now. That when I was a child, when my parents trained me, when they held my hand, told me to do X, Y, Z, that worked. And I needed that direction probably at that point of time.
At that time.
And they had a certain amount of knowledge then. However, as a grown-up now, I'd like to make certain decisions or a certain way that I want to probably go in. And am I okay to do that? The problem is you are not okay to do it.
Right. That's it.
So be an allowance of them and be an allowance of yourself also. And also, do you have the courage to be able to do that?
So that's courage versus disrespect, the confusion. There's that.
Yes. There's also this, it's like, I'll take this decision and what if I go wrong? Do you have the courage to make that decision? Do you have the courage to move forward also?
Right.
Agar galat ho gaya.
So probably that's the other thing, that maybe the person has gone in a direction and also maybe, yahan pe thoda galti lag gaya, but it's okay to go there and again pursue that.
So you got to be okay with you and you got to be okay with making a mistake. Right. It's okay. It's just a mistake. You try again. Edison made 1,000 attempts.
Right.
So okay, mistakes to learn. Anybody, if you see in the history of people who've actually been able to do anything in their life, have made mistakes.
Right.
But if you're going to stick on to, I'm going to do only what XYZ said because that's the way to do it, I'm not willing to make my own mistakes, then you're going to be there forever.
In fact, I think in schools today and the whole education system, it's all about if you make the mistake, tune kya kiya? It is even in our schooling system, which is driven in that form where mistakes are not accepted, mistakes are wrong, mistakes are horrible, you are the worst, and so therefore that's another thing that's so deep rooted conditioning in all of us that I think we all have to work at this part to say that it's okay to make mistakes. It's a great one. I think, okay, the answer did come back saying, appreciate the answer, though it's not really clear, but thank you all the same. Okay, I guess we'll move to the next one. All right, next one is how to overcome our negative thoughts. I think we kind of overcome, we've done that. We'll skip that one. Next one is, isn't being mindful or mindfulness, would it come handy to maneuver through the current crisis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Cool. This is another one. I practice Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, where we chant towards our goals. Wasn't that the thing you were doing? That
Yes.
also starts with visualization and sending out the energy in the universe. Why is the law of attraction not working here? The goals are not being met. Oh, you actually did this, and isn't that one of the starting points of law of attraction? This same Buddhism thing that you were doing?
Buddhism but it's been a very big part of my life. Yes, I practiced Buddhism for a very long time. The one thing that I would like to probably say over there is the reason why things are probably not working is because of self-sabotage. You have to basically look at what am I not willing to look at? What am I not willing to be? What am I not willing to receive? What There is something that we block out from being able to see, and therefore you can't reach the particular goals. So it says that why is the law of attraction not working? The goals are not being met. So there are a lot of, actually, when you go into goals, there are a lot of areas and a lot of things when it comes to goals. There are, if you read my book, in that only itself, I've written the right method of asking, that this is a particular way that you ask, this is a particular way that you kind of let go of the noise, there's a particular way, the words that you're probably using and choosing, that matters a lot. So you have to go through those, you have to basically clear out the space, like your cupboard, you put things properly, and then even you have to visualize and know that, is the goal even mine? Is it somebody else's? Have I picked up my parents' dreams and I'm trying to live that? Like you said. So there can be so many actually reasons, and when you go through it, you are able to really see that, okay, so there may be a lot of different ways that you put barriers in your own path, which you uncover as you go along.
I would like to take this next question. It's very, very close to me. This is again on the health healing issue. Um, when you talk about healing, how can it help someone who has cancer? Do you will your body to rid itself of malignant cells, or, and of course alongside the treatment she's saying over there? So what would you say to people like with diseases like cancer?
So what I would want to say is, again, orientation of the mind. That's where you actually begin. Am I there? Okay.
Yes.
So orientation of the mind is really important. One of the key ways, I had shared this during my TED talk, how to know whether you are vibrating, that your vibrations are in the right way or not, is the quickest way to check whether your vibrations are good or bad is if you're happy or sad. If you're happy, you're constantly vibrating positively. If you're sad, you're constantly vibrating negatively. And if you're vibrating negatively, you create more of that. If you're vibrating positively, you create more of that. Whatever you sow into the soil, that is what is going to come out. So if it's poppy seeds, that will come out. If it's poison ivy, that's probably will come out. So you got to, in health especially, your state of life, your positivity, it matters a lot, because that's what you're constantly feeding. Plus, um, when you are creating from the space of health, if you go online and read more about placebo and stuff like that, there are a lot of medicines that actually, if you know about homeopathy, a lot of times homeopaths give you medicines like placebos, because you've already started taking them and you believe that they're going to work. That's why they work. There's so many experiments, if you go online and see, they work because you've already decided they work. It's only because how you have oriented your mind. So that is one, that how you're orienting your mind. Second is to stay happy, and uh, and meditation and stuff really helps over there. And and develop or write down. Journaling would be fabulous in this space. And other thing is, write down what are the different things that I can do probably on a daily basis. What are my beliefs about this health? So sentences like, I believe all this, which is a fact, that all the cells in your body change every 7 years, 5 to 7 years. So not one cell in your body that does not change. So if everything changes, how can cancer still stay there, or how can a condition still stay there? So but we are conditioned to believing that things cannot change, and this is going to be with me and it's going to be forever. So what are you feeding yourself continuously really matters. So yeah, there's a lot you can do with health when you begin to actually work on that.
Okay, I have a quick question on this one because I get the point that stay happy. When you're in a joyful state, it helps you out. But I myself last year went through a heart transplant operation, and as I was coming closer to the date, I was like, chalo, put up stand up comedy, let me laugh my guts out. But I mean, as time went by, I realized that even that's not working. I was looking at stand-up comedy and I was like, huh, huh, yeah, yeah. I couldn't even laugh. I lost my laugh. I don't know how I got it back after the transplant, but I mean, I thought maybe one idea would be to put yourself in front of fun stuff like this. So, what's your take on watching funny stuff to be joyful? Is that something?
It impacts a lot. It does. Even if you're just doing it out of somebody's asked you to, but it does impact. If you see Louis Hay, I believe she watched a lot of Tom and Jerry when she was battling cancer. So you got to connect yourself to things that make you feel happier, because it's those happy hormones that actually let you and help you to heal.
Okay.
What are you communicating to the cells constantly? What are communicating to the mind constantly? It really matters at a subconscious level for that healing process to take place. So anything that you think is probably, clear up your space, clear up even people if you want to, when you really want to heal, and just give yourself that. You owe yourself that. You owe yourself being happy. So I guess.
I think what we'll do is, it's already 8:30 and I've taken 1.5 hours of your time. Many people might want to go for dinner, but it's good to know that at least around 30 people are still on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these remaining questions, okay, and I'm going to request you for a favor. If you can probably write some little answers or some links to
I
share.
will do
Sorry?
I said we will do a separate private session. You can record it.
That would be much easier. Yes, exactly. So we will get to the Naresh, Anonymous, Jignesh or Jigesh, Sumit, and many others out here. I will get to your questions and take another session with as a part two follow up, finishing off of questions. But before we go, I just want to ask you, if people wanted to get in touch with you before we get around doing the second video and answering you, what's the best way they can get to know about? I know you've got books, for example. So where does one get that? If there's any, you are going to share definitely some meditation stuff with me, which I want to share with the rest. This recording itself, I'll share with them. But maybe if people want to maybe do a one-on-one, some people are not comfortable with workshops. I particularly like my one-on-one sessions with you because I found them focused. I mean, and it was very, very helpful. I mean, you gave me the recordings of those things. So how do people, what's the best way they can get in touch with you to take things forward if they want to do private sessions with you, or work group sessions and workshop sessions with you? What's the best way to get in touch with you? Maybe you can post it in this.
So I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I do lot of personal sessions, coachings, as well as workshops.
Yeah.
I am having a workshop on law of attraction coming up first. I'm going to put the link for the workshop, which is coming up, in case anybody is interested in that.
Okay. This is
yeah. Oops. Sorry.
I think, did it go in the chat or somewhere else?
No, I did go on the chat, but not to everybody.
Ah. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
So I've sent it to everybody.
.com. I think that's a wrong URL. Let me fix that. Hang on.
Yeah.
.com. Okay. So artiasrani.com is your website, and /one. That's the one. Let me just click it and confirm if it's the same one. Let's share my screen. This is the one here. Okay. So this is the link which we've just sent you guys. Reprogram your mind to attract all you desire. Okay, great. So this is good. This is the page that will give you all the information that's coming for our upcoming workshop. And they have access to your contact details here in case they want to do a one-on-one session.
Yeah, so I put up my website. They can get in touch with me on my contact page. I have my WhatsApp link also over there in case anybody.
Just go to artiasrani.com, enter, and then they'll be able to access the whole website. Or this is the website. Oh, okay. So here's the website. All right. So there's a contact page somewhere at the bottom or at the top?
Contact pages and contacts.
Where exactly is that? How there we go. Versus blog testimonials. No.
It's under about.
Okay. So there's the text. Go to about whenever the page loads up, and then you can click on contact us and get in touch with us. Okay, great. So this is great. I'm going to leave it at that. And let's, I guess, schedule a session so that we can probably get in touch with people whose questions were not answered. And we'll send that as a follow-up. Yeah. Aarti, I can't thank you enough for the time you've taken. Really, I was looking forward to this, and I think it's turned out really great. And interestingly enough, when I invited people for this particular webinar, they're saying, like, Rishi, you should interview us also. I said, yeah, sure, why not? So it's good. It's like more people like you are coming around, and I'm hoping to have more interesting people, at this time, especially to talk about some positive messages to help people going through whatever they're going through at this point. So thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for coming. And hopefully we'll see you in the next program.
Yeah. Thanks, Rishi. It was great fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.